Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am super happy to have this guy backstage with me tonight. Yeah, you know who he is. He's the greatest showman on Coco, Chip. But I got to shout out the chats before he comes on. So, what is up, Michaela? Woo woo. Kai from Lucas Landon hit some ultra mal pies and some crazy stuff this weekend. Or last weekend, or whenever he actually posted a video. What is up, Ken? What's up, Stan? I hope you had a good time in the Daytona. Seems like it was lit. Scroll down. What's up, Rob M? PA fam. We got Angie and Jeff in the chat. All right. Yeah, I got your stickers. They're awesome. What's up, All to His Glory Exotics? Let me see who else is here. Heathen Hatchery. Antoine Patreon. Untitled Python. Patreon fam. All right. I got you. I said Angie. What's up, John? No H. I'll steal that from my buddy Terrence. What's up, Morbid? PA fam. There's a guy backstage right now waiting. Come in. What's up, Eric? A lot more people in here. What's up, Victor? Far Exotics. The man you want to buy skinks from. He's got dark. He's got light. Choose your side. All right. Let's see who's still in here. I heard a hey Nicole. I didn't see a hey Nick. I didn't see a Nicole. Whatever. Oh, there she is. Found her. What's up, my Retick fam? What's up, Mitzi? How's it going? What's up, Rudy? All right, I think we're good to go. We're going to bring this guy. He is the greatest show on Coco, right? You may have seen him on King of the Hill, King of the Mountain. He's funny as hell. But watch his other videos too, right? So we'll bring him out right now. Let's switch screens here. There we go. We got Chip from Regius Sphera Pythons.
Hey guys, hey everybody. Hey Ken, I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Oh yeah, of course. Bearded ball python breeders. We stick together. All right. So
That's right.
So give for the people in the chat that don't know you, give a brief introduction of where you're from, how long you've been keeping, and yeah.
All right.
Tell me who you are.
Okay. My dad was in the Air Force, so we've moved all over the place. So I literally moved 17 times growing up. So let's start as an adult. I've lived in the same house for the last 23 years, so I'm doing good there because I hate moving. But I had a snake when I was a kid, a ball python. I'm sorry, a boa constrictor when I was a kid. I was 12 years old. Because the ball pythons just didn't really do it for me. All there was when I was a kid were normals. And so I had a boa constrictor and loved him and all that good stuff. And as I got older, moved on, ended up selling it. And out of the blue, my daughter said, she spent the night with a friend of hers and another 8-year-old girl. And that little girl had a ball python. And I was like, we're not getting a ball python because anybody with kids knows that they are going to end up taking care of the pet because the kid 9 times out of 10 is not going to do it. So I thought, well, I'll get her a rabbit. Well, in the meantime, I started looking at the ball pythons and I was just absolutely blown away with what's happened. I did not know any of this had happened. And I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. And I felt like I had missed the ride of a lifetime and I wanted to immediately get back into it. So in 2018, I purchased 4 ball pythons. Oh, I bought 2 at first, and then as soon as I got them, I knew it was on, and I just started
You got that
buying.
itch.
Yeah, and then I just started buying. They're like potato chips; you can't just have one. And now I've got 20, of which 15 are breeder females, and then I got 5 males.
I mean,
And
that's a ratio.
it's just
Five.
right. But I'm just excited about it, and that's kind of led me up to where I'm at today.
So, Chip, do you keep anything other than like ball pythons? I know you said you got a rabbit at some point.
Right.
I mean,
The
Nicole would
rabbit
say
has since,
retake food.
yeah, the
but,
rabbit has since passed away.
So nothing
But
else.
I've got
just
a boa
ball python?
constrictor now.
Oh, you got one boa.
Right.
Is it a BCC, a true
It's a
you know,
BCI.
boa? BCI, Imperator.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. I mainly got it for the idea of whatever rats I produced too many, I'd have something to take care of it. Because when I first got started raising rats, my freezer started getting full, and I just couldn't find anybody that wanted any rats, and which is a surprise, and was a surprise to me. But I got him, and he took care of it. And then lo and behold, I met someone who raises raptors, birds. And he started buying them. Yep. So that's worked out good.
Yeah. So for me, I used to have a Cayman. I had a monitor. Like they were my garbage disposals. Like if I had a frozen thawed rat that was sitting in the rack,
right,
toss it over there, something would eat it. So if you have raptors or a place to like discard of that, so it's not wasted, going in a dumpster. I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, because you don't want to have frozen rats for too long a period. In fact, what I've read is, 4 to 6 months. If you haven't eaten them by then they need to get tossed out. And sadly, that's what I was having to do, was toss out rats.
Yeah. I mean, I treated them the same way I treat my food, right? So it's like 6 months. You can throw some hamburger in your freezer and keep that for like 6 months, and then you probably keep it for like 2 years, but it loses nutritional value. So I try to keep everything in the freezer for 6 months or less. I have food safety certification, so as long as they're frozen, under 0 degrees, you're good. Unfortunately, when you thaw your rats to room temperature, we take longer than that food safety period, and I don't know, maybe a snake can eat them, but if they don't eat them
they get
right
mushy.
away.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I noticed that they get mushy if you leave them in there too long, like 6 months. It ain't hitting on much.
Yeah, I mean, I have that. Yeah, they're squishy. No, I mean, I'm not feeding them, but
right.
I don't know. I keep food safety protocols for everything I eat, everything my animals eat, aside from the rats, because they eat pellets and they're room temperature. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the topic where we get to know about Chip a little more. So, how did you come up with your name?
Well, I started looking at Morph Market and looking at Instagram, and I saw that I needed to get into the game of it. And I was trying to come up with a clever name. I didn't want to go by, my name.
Right.
But,
you didn't want to be like, Pearson Forsyth Pythons or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah, that would go kind of good, I guess. Pearson Forsyth Pythons. But I wanted to come up with something that everybody was pretty familiar with. I mean, how you have to write Regius on the side of the boxes so that they know what they're being shipped. So I thought, well, Regius is Latin for royal, and Sphera is Latin for sphere or ball. So I thought royal ball pythons, and figured it would fly.
Hey, Chip's got nice balls, Chris.
And thank you. You must have talked to my wife.
I told you we had to king of comedy on Coco. Oh yeah,
There
look
you
at that
go.
alliteration. I had to laugh at myself for coming up with that
Yeah.
on the spot. All right. So you came up with this ingenious idea of this, king of the mountain, king of the hill, and then king of the mountain, right?
Right. Yeah,
So,
that
like,
was
how'd you? I mean, how'd you come up with that? Aside from the fact we did like buck when we were kids and
right.
beat each other's butts.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, man, as you well know, doing YouTube, everybody and their brother who does YouTube does reviews and how-to videos, and I believe that they are the staple of YouTube. There's no doubt about that because I use YouTube every day for stuff that I don't know what I'm doing. As long as you see somebody that's competent and you feel comfortable with them, then that's great. But so there is definitely a value added to people who do that, and I've got plenty of my videos on there as well. And I was trying to come up with an idea. I'm not really much into interviewing, at least I don't think I am, but everybody's doing that. And, if you got your friend doing it 7 days a week and you jump in, now you're going to bump somebody out. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. And I thought about that, gas prices were going up and, who couldn't use $100? And I actually did do some sponsorship, or what do you call it? Where you pay to be advertised, and they work great. There's nothing wrong with that. And I definitely used it. And in fact, I used Kai, Lucas Landon Royals, and I think he was on here earlier, and he's great. Anybody who's ever seen his show, he does a great job at that. And I just thought, not that I didn't want to give Kai any money, but I thought, what if I could come up with a way to give breeders some money and also get people to come over here and watch the show? And that's how I came up with it. I just remembered as a kid playing King of the Hill, and it made sense that you could have King of the Hill challenges, and then from those challenges have the ultimate King of the Mountain, and then award somebody $100. So that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean, and somehow people in Pennsylvania have been winning.
Well, I'll explain
Aside
that.
from Mark from 403, yeah, he enticed students to,
Right. Well, here's the deal with that. So everybody that's listening, because I've actually had somebody ask me that, why do I keep picking my friends? And the daggone problem is that whenever I put feelers out, and I'm gonna go ahead and name some names tonight.
Name names. We're all friends here.
Yeah, small town exotics. They don't know me from Adam, but whenever I send him a text, I get no response on what's happening. So if anybody knows him, you let him know. I have tried to contact him to say, hey, I would love to use your snake. And some people will say, well, why don't you just use it no matter what? That's because I don't want to send somebody $100 that they don't know they got $100 and they don't even use it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I've tried Burke's Serps out of Charlotte. I love those guys. Their pictures and stuff. I've liked them 1,000 times. Then they follow me, but whenever I send them an email, they don't respond. So I don't get it. But there's plenty of people I have tried to get on here, and it just doesn't happen. And it seems to be those people who are in my little network that will actually respond back. And if I filter through, and I'm not trying to say that everybody I've picked didn't cut the mustard, because you can obviously see they did cut the mustard because they got some beautiful snakes. But I try
they do. But I'm about to, on my repost of this video right now, this moment.
Right.
When you're talking about this, I'm gonna tag everybody on social media.
Yeah,
I know.
And see, the only reason why
hire people to get in on this, because it's $100.
Well, check this out. Like House of Gaia Pythons, the only reason why I got him was because I contacted Jeremy of Warfels Morphs and said, hey, can you please let him know? And before he did contact him, I was getting no response from him. And I kind of get that because there's so much scams going on. And also like bomb projects. I think the reason why I got him was only because of Terrence and Keisha Keys. So And
He's
that guy's all out in California. So, and he had an awesome snake, but you got, and this isn't a knock against spawn projects. The thing is that you've got to, what do you call it? Put out the word, hey, come over there and vote. And sometimes people get really busy and they forget. And next thing you know, some, no account like Jeremy Warfel beats them all.
Jeremy, you hear that? He calls you a no account.
Just
He's
playing.
monetized.
Or Mark, a lowly school teacher out in California, blows everybody away, But yeah,
I mean, it's just been weird that like everybody that has progressed has been like a mutual friend of mine. So it's just been weird that like I gotta root for FNA, but then Mark does. I'm donating to my students, or somebody's donating to US Arc, or whomever. So I mean, it's a really novel and good idea that you've done.
Right. I've had a lot of good people like Jeremy with Bald's Exotic Reptiles. Right off the bat, he goes, hey, if I win, I want you to donate the money to US Arc.
I think Danny said the same thing, but he's not going to chime in because he hates YouTube.
Who does?
Danny Lee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see.
Call him out.
Yeah, Danny Lee, he won just purely because he had a great snake, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think, advertised to nobody. I don't think he put the word out to anybody, but I guess you fellow PA boys did it for him. I don't know how it happened.
I mean, he came in Bob Boo verified, so.
There you go. There you go.
And that's a joke that we ask him if you ever have him on, or I ever have him on. tell you all the story.
Bob Boo verified?
Bob Boo verified. Oh, what's up, Brian Grace? I got some snakes behind me that are from him. It's awesome. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So, Chip, we'll move on. So, you do this King of the Mountain, King of the Hill. Your videos are very, very professional looking. What software services do you use?
Okay, for my software, I use it's a Wondershare. Filmora, that's another name for it. It's like Filmora 11, I think it is. And I got it for like a lifetime, license fee of like $80. And nice. I love it. Now, again, I'm sure you use something different than I do, and you probably love what you got, but this was cheap and it just works great. And I've never had a single issue with it, per se. But yeah, I use Filmora 11. That's the series of that it's on now. When I first started, it was Filmora 9, and now they've updated to several times. Now it's Filmora 11. So yep, that's what I use. Works like a dream.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using iMovie. I have various cameras and microphones and whatever I use to film my stuff. So I mean, it's nice to hear that other people use different services.
Right.
What do you use to make your thumbnails?
Canva.
Oh, me too. All right, cool.
I love that. That's free. You can't beat free. And there's plenty of good stuff that's free on Canva that there's no, in my opinion, no need to go buying anything. Even though I know that sounds like a cheap way of doing it, but I'm happy with it.
No, there's nothing. Hey, free is the best price, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you've noticed, you know what, on replay, I'm going to drop links to his most recent video in the description. You need to watch it. It's professional. Like, it looks like a sitcom.
Oh, yeah. That's my throw on growing up in the 70s. The Jeffersons, I did a take on that. And then I did a take on the TV show called Soap that was big when I was a kid. And it's kind of hard to do them because there's so much copyright infringement that could come about. And like I tried to do a Brady Bunch, but man, it was so. And I was even going to sing the song myself, but it didn't make any difference, man. It was real tight, and I couldn't get it by.
Old boy Chip got himself in a pickle.
Yeah, just about.
Figuring out these plushes that he hatched a couple weeks ago. Yellow-bellied pies.
Yeah, I'll tell you that was a neat little thing though. That Jefferson's the moving on up. I loved doing that one. That one was so cool, and I was able to use the whole song, no copyright infringement whatsoever. I was blown away.
I mean, it's fun. Like, you take the music license to like the extreme.
I try to push it to the limit, and then and I also in the background I got a lot of stuff going on. I may change the phase of the song a little bit, and um, and
I mean,
all that helps.
In the words of the Eagles, did you take it to the limit?
I tried to take
One
it to
more
the
time?
limit. And that's the other thing too. Is see, I'll have to download it and let YouTube check it out. And as long as they pass it, then I'll do a little bit more, and I'll do it one more time to see where I get.
All right. I mean, if you watch Chip's videos, the editing is amazing. The music is on point for whoever's there. So, we'll still talk about these, King of the Mountain, King of the Hill things. King of the Hill, King of the Mountain. Gotta get the, timing right. So how do you pick the people that are your party hosts, your party guests, your security?
Okay, that is the secret of Instagram. So either through Instagram, like if somebody's commenting to me or on YouTube or whatever, I will, they may say something that's, oh, that was awful nice of them to say that or whatever. Well, then I'll go to their Instagram page and see if there's any pictures of them in there. Like Tammy, I went to Tammy's Instagram page, which she don't really have much on there. And if I can get a picture of them, then I will put them in the video, like security or hosting the party or out in the audience, that sort of thing. And I try to pick people that I feel like are, pretty okay with themselves, and they're not going to get mad, and they realize it's all for fun. I don't never poke fun, so to speak, at anybody that I'm afraid of will beat me up. So I just kind of stay away from them. I'm just playing.
I don't know. You put Ray, you put Will, you put a bunch of big dudes in there. So
yeah, but I also did Dre of DW Exotics.
He's short, but he's got big things. And
how I played that off was I said that Big E told me that his nickname was the Bulldog. When he get a hold of you, he ain't gonna let go, and it went over perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I hosted a party. If you guys did not know, and I couldn't send Chip a decent picture of myself that wasn't comical.
Yeah, I remember getting that picture of you, the black and white, and I asked Kent to send me a picture of himself, and he sends me his booking photo from the last party he hosted where he was arrested.
And then what made that episode even funnier was that Jeremy Warfel was part of it, and Jeremy sends him a Boba Fett mask.
Yeah.
So the first time I had Chip on Sunday Snake Chat was a couple weeks ago. And Jeremy Warfel shows up in that same Boba Fett mask.
Wow. Now another one I did recently was Dominique, and I think she's a pretty lady, and she did a video of herself where she did one of these filters where it picks your queen of the day or whatever it was, and it called her Queen Potato. Well, I took still shots of that and put that on there, and she thought it was all hilarious, and I that was great. And see, she has a good sense of humor, so it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what we do on the internet, so yeah. If we can't own it, then why are we on the internet? So,
right.
So while we're talking about, King of the Mountain, King of the Hill, do you notice a difference in the viewership that you get for those videos compared to your normal, equally funny, equally important videos of your own collection?
Yeah, there's more, because what I usually try to do is I will talk up to the audience. Hey, make sure you come over, subscribe, and vote. Well, a lot of people that subscribe are people that are mainly there because they're supporting their friend, and I get that. But occasionally, and that's where I'm going after, is I'm going after that occasional person who comes back and looks at a video. And because I usually post my regular videos on Saturday morning, And right now with clutches and baby, updates and this, that, and the other, I've got plenty of material to put out. And that's, I've got my kind of regulars that show up for the Saturday videos. And then I've got the other people who are mainly interested in voting, or seeing themselves. And that's the other thing. I think if I get more people involved in it, I think it's funny. If somebody did a video with me in there, I would definitely go watch it. And that's the cool thing is you pick some of these people like Ray from Alluring Serpents, or Will from Will's Hill of Heat, or Nicole, from Lady Tiz. All these people, they'll come over and watch it, and they get a kick out of it. And what are they going to do? They're going to tell somebody, and that's what I hope happens.
Well, I hope they all tell somebody. And then remember, like, share, subscribe to both of us. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Don't be lurking.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I thought that was
lurking.
Right.
You're watching. You better hit at least one of them buttons. Come on. This man is funny as hell.
I appreciate you saying that.
He's hilarious, which leads me to my next question, which I don't know if you actually are prepared for. So,
no, I didn't. I did not look at any of those questions because I want to be dismayed and shocked just like the rest of everybody.
All right. We see how it is. He didn't do his research.
Well, that's good. That way,
On this interview, he's done it in ball pythons, but all right. So most of your videos have a witty or comedic aspect to them. What comedians you draw your inspiration from, or you just naturally just freaking hilarious?
Well, my dad, who's no longer with us, he was sarcastic as all get out, but in a tasteful way. He wasn't a spirit crusher or anything like that. He was just funny. And when I was a kid, I used to try to emulate him and try to be that way. And you know as well as I do, you can pick subtle things out about a person, and without hurting their feelings, but you can kind of do a little dig here and there, and it's funny, And plus, growing up, I loved Richard Pryor and Phil Hartman, Eddie Murphy, all those people like that, right? And one thing I liked about back then, which I don't know how old a lot of these people are, but back in the day, you could make fun of somebody and it was funny. And then today, it's so whacked out. I don't even understand it, how it's changed so much. But blacks made fun of whites, and whites made fun of blacks, and Hispanics did this, and what I'm saying, everything was funny. Granted, you've got racism like crazy out there, but that's one thing I liked about Richard Pryor. He made fun of everybody. Same thing with Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah, I mean, Dave. I honestly, I grew up. I'm 33, so when I was in high school. Dave Chappelle was hilarious.
He's awesome.
He pushed boundaries, kind of like Richard Pryor did. Sam Kinison. These various comedians. George Carlin. You had these people that pushed these boundaries, but it was still funny. Pardon
right.
my English, Mom. But yeah, I mean, you have. There's a point where it's funny and it's not tasteful.
Right.
And Dave Chappelle got to that point, in my opinion. But I mean, there's things that are still funny, and I don't want to touch on the race topic or anything like that.
Right.
But things that are funny to a lot of people.
Exactly. And everybody has failings with their bodies, with their lives, with their livelihood. I mean, everybody has something that someone could chime on. And if they could just be okay with it, and there's a lot of things I've got that are screwed up about me, and I think that comes with age. The older you get, the more you realize, you're not perfect, and you're never going to be perfect. So you might as well just try to enjoy life as it is.
Yeah, I think who the hell? I think it was Tom Segura said it best. He's the guy that is bald and bearded like me, not fat and bearded like me, like Bert Kreischer. But he said, what can I say as a white dude? Well, you can say honky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look at the Jeffersons, George Jefferson was the epitome of funny, and yet white people loved him, black people loved him. It didn't make a Chico and the Man. I grew up watching Chico and the Man. I don't know who all remembers that, but they were funny. And I just wish things could be like that again to a degree. I mean, where everybody was getting, I don't know. Some people say back then was horrible and now it's supposed to be great. I don't quite get that, but to me, it's worse now than it was when I was a kid.
Where it was comedy and it was funny and, inappropriate and, whatever, and you laughed. Right. Now we can't actually laugh. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, I know we're getting dragged into comedy.
Yeah, we're dragging ourselves to the mud. But you know what? Go back and watch, Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison. There's countless comedians from back in the day, Eddie Murphy, who, you name it, they were funny back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So we're going to move back on to snakes. So this is the part where you actually get to see some balls. Maybe, if Chip wants to show them all. So, as a first-year ball python breeder, what can you share any learning experiences?
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm going through one heck of a learning experience right now, which I'm in the middle of a video that I'm going to be putting out this Saturday. And that is, this year, which I know this may be part of your question too, but this year I produced 8 clutches. And so far, all 8, went into the incubator. 2 have come out perfectly normal, healthy, no problems whatsoever. The third one, I'll back up. I cut the first one on day 55. The second one I cut on day 57. And this one I thought, well, I'm going to let it pip naturally. And so I let it pip naturally. 3 pipped. And I thought, gosh, it's day 60 and I still don't really see anything. And I hope that Kent is still around because I see his pictures gone, but hopefully everybody can hear me still talk. And I will definitely carry this show for as long as I can. Anyway, I pulled that clutch out of the incubator and I looked at the 3 that had pipped. Yeah, I'm still talking. So I was trying to carry the show, man.
Yeah, I had to push the dog away.
Okay, but anyway, so I pulled them out and I looked at the 3 that had pipped, and they immediately retracted into their eggs, but 1, and I touched it and it was dead. And I thought, daggone, what's happened here? Well, I immediately cut the other 9 eggs. It was an 11-egg clutch, and 9 of the babies were dead. And I don't know what happened, what went on. I had no problems with my incubator whatsoever. I use a sensor push, and it has been for this whole time bouncing between 89.4 and 89.9. Okay, there's no way it was my incubator that I can think of, and I got sensor pushes throughout. So like I said, I cut them, and they were all dead. And I still stuck them back in the incubator just in case. And after about 2 more days, that was on day 62 and they're still dead. So I knew they were dead. Well, then they finally came out. The 3 that had pipped came out and their bellies were all swollen and it just did not look right at all. And I ended up contacting Chris with B&S Reptilia to ask him about it, which he explained a few things, but needless to say, today is day 65 and the 3 are still alive, but introduced the dun 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 dun. One of them has hard belly, and I did a video on that, which is going to come out Saturday. So that was not a fun experience.
A week from or 6 days from today, correct?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. And that was not a fun experience, but I've got a video coming out about it. And, but anyway, so it ain't all roses, but my first 2 clutches were perfect. And I actually have 3. Yeah, well, yeah, that's life, I guess. But I got 3 babies from those 2 clutches. I was wondering, do you mind if I show them or no?
Oh, yes. This is the portion of the show where we show our balls.
Okay. And these are, this is from my first clutch, and this is a Leopard blade Pastel clown. I mean, this is a male though, and he is. I think he's perfect. Just perfect line going straight down his dorsal, and beautiful leopard dots. And I mean, I got 5 of them. It was weird. I had 5, and 4 of them were male, and 1 was a female. So obviously, I'm keeping the female. But this is one of the males, and they're eating perfectly. They're already on rat pups and all that good stuff. And sorry about that. Yeah, they're already on rat pups and just doing like a charm.
So, Chip, your video that came out yesterday,
right?
Of
On
the
what?
yellow-bellied pied.
Yeah, I got that right here. I'll show you that. I got
all males.
Say that again.
They were like all males.
Oh, I know. It was 6 males and 1 female, I think it was, or I think it's either 6 males and 1 female, or 5 males and 2 females. I can't remember. This is one of the males, obviously. But and hopefully you can see that.
Snakes.
Yeah, you got to get used to this daggone camera. Anyway,
it's the opposite of where you think you need to put it.
Yeah, let's start over here. Anyway, well, come on, buddy.
Is that an ODYB pied?
I think it is, which I'm in the middle of talking with Kai, who is a pied king, I think, and he's going to help me to make sure I'm identifying this right. I mean, you see how there's pixelation, I think. Now, maybe I'm not missing something, but, you know, that looks like pixelation to me coming down the sides.
A little burning.
Yeah, and there's orange as heck. But that's 1. And I only brought out 2, but let me show you this other one here. Come on, buddy.
I hear you, Keisha. I just got your stickers behind me. Well, not yours, but everybody else's.
All right, and here's another one. Now this one's, I don't know what's going on here. See how it's got like it almost has a exanthic look to it a little bit right there, right there. It's gray and silver. It's right there in the middle of it, and that may be just what pieds do sometimes, I guess. But I
mean, it could be some paradox.
There we go, right there. But yeah, I'm talking to Kai, and he's going to help me to, you know, make sure I've got them identified right, because I definitely don't want to put something on Morph Market that,
you know, sell it wrong.
Not right. But the rest, you know, those other 3 survivors from the 3rd clutch, I'm not going to show them yet because they're recuperating. Their bellies are all swollen. 2, like I said, is swollen, and from my understanding, their yolk, you know, just hasn't quite digested yet, and that's what it feels like, because it's not hard at all. But the 3rd one appears to have had hard belly, which I dealt with that, and I've got a video, like I said, coming out Saturday concerning that.
Right, and you were talking about in your video from yesterday about feeling for that, but I want you to look at the comment that Chris from BNS just mentioned.
Oh yeah,
that snake you showed with that.
Oh, okay, so that is paradox. Well, it's weird. I got 2 that did that. I got this one, which is you know, I don't think this is a pastel pie. I mean, I don't know what it is. You know how the head on the pastel pied is more blushed out. This one's not, but it's got it right there, that whatever that is right there. And I've got another one that did the same thing, but it looks like yellow belly. I mean, pastel pied. So I'll have to show that to you. Or I can't show it. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It almost looks like exanthic right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice paradox. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't reproduce that, but it's still really cool to have.
Yeah, let me get that other one real quick just to show you, if you don't mind me stepping away. Do you mind?
No, I don't.
I'll be right back.
Look at your awesome background.
Yo, there you go.
Look at that corrugated steel or something like that, and a great logo in the background. Also, there's I assume, a cutting board from Jar Pythons creeping in the background under my logo. If you can see it. Yeah, morbid. Hell no. No, if it's a male, I mean, I might be interested. We got a female pied. Exactly, Nicole. I mean, I live vicariously through him today for all y'all at Daytona.
All right, now this one, I guess now that I'm looking at it, it's not quite a paradox, but it's you notice how it's right behind the head, right there. It did the same thing, kind of. If that makes
Okay, I
sense.
see that.
Yeah, in the same spot that the other one did, right there. But this one's definitely got pastel in it. The head's blushed out, and yeah, it's right there, right. Oh, wait, no, right there. Yeah, this camera, I got to get used to this.
It's got two spots where it's paradoxing, where your middle finger is right now. Well, I mean, for both of them.
Right, yeah, right there, yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway, they're fat little buddies, and they're eating really good, and I've been really lucky that I have not had any problems with them converting from mice.
right there. What John said. Like this video, and go subscribe to both of us. If you're not subscribed to Chip, you are wilding, in the words of T Keys. You whack.
Well, I sure appreciate her saying that. Yeah, I'm trying to get them subscribers up. I think last I looked, I had like 420. And, I'm sure like most people who are looking for subscribers, they'll go click, 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 click. And then all of a sudden, click, 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 click. You start losing.
It does that. But like for me, on my end, let me put me back on here. I think it's this one. I'm trying to like do these, Sunday Saint chats, bring on people like you, Keys, Jeremy Turgeon, Brian Gundy, people that aren't like me and that can offer me knowledge and offer the community knowledge. And, it's better than a bunch of us just, shooting that, talking shop, 18 panels going on. Those are fine when they happen, but I think I wanted to move this way so I can get like what's Chip thinking right now.
Right.
I got breeder. I mean,
well, let me say something about that while we're talking about that real quick. The other thing I did that may be different than some people is when I started looking on YouTube, I started realizing that people were saying, well, you got to have name recognition if you're wanting to sell anything. So I thought, well, I need to start getting some videos and joining Instagram and getting my face out there. So what I actually did, and some of you guys may already know this, is I produced 52 videos before I showed the first one, so that I could have a video a week without feeling pressured to show a video. If I was sick, I still had a video. If I felt like I didn't know what I was going to do, I
had a video.
Show a video, right? So I ended up producing 52 videos, and I started putting them out. Well, then somebody said, well, you need to put out more than one a week. You're going to get nowhere. Well, then that started eating up my videos. And if anybody ever goes back and looks at them, you'll notice I had a cinder block wall behind me. And then I moved to this about probably, halfway through the season, because I was about to run out of my videos, and I started producing new videos. And it really freed my time up to try to do decent stuff, I felt like, and I was able to buy snakes. So it appears that my snakes came out of nowhere, but actually those snakes were purchased over 2018, 19, and 20, and then come 2022, I knew I was going to breed them, and I bred 9 of them, and out of the 9, I got 8 clutches.
Nice.
And hopefully next year, I will have 15 total breeder females that will be ready to breed.
I think I mean, I have like 2 right now. I think 7 next year, something like that.
Right.
So we're just waiting. We're biding our time.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing. I don't want to rush anything. Like I've got a Candino pied that is 2 years old, and man, she is the slowest eater. Right now, she weighs like 845, and she's not starving, and she's not, doing anything odd, and she's happy, but she just don't want to eat, but like once a month. And I'm hoping that she will, something will flourish in her and cause her to want to eat, and but I'm just going to play it by ear.
Yeah, I'm getting yelled at for people ain't being blue. So while I do this and make people blue and give them wrenches, can you talk about what genes you're working with currently?
Okay. My favorite recessives that I have that I'm working with are clown, pied, and ghost. And those are my 3 favorite. Hypo, I guess is what I should say. And eventually I am going to move into desert ghost and exanthic. And I've already worked out a deal with a fellow person off of Instagram. I'm sure many of you know is Arcadia Pythons. Dale is his name, and we're going to work out a trade where I can get 2 het desert ghosts, and I've already seen what they've produced. But I'm going to get 2 hets from him and trade him out with an upcoming clutch that I'm getting ready to come out, which is a spot nose inchy clown. And so that's one thing that's coming down the line. But an exanthic, I would love to get into that. But as with most things, my wallet dictates what I can and cannot do. So, but another thing, like spot nose is a nice. I mean, to me, a spot nose clown or spot nose really adds some craziness to a snake, and that's probably my favorite incomplete dominant. And I also like Cypress, which I don't have anything that's Cypress, but I'm working myself towards that way. So hopefully that will be soon. Once I sell some of these babies this year, I'll be able to move into that. You still wrenching?
Yeah, I am. Hold on, clicking the button. Yeah, I was
Can we talk
wrenching.
about my favorite dominant genes?
We're do dominant.
Well, I mean, I like Calico and Leopard. To me, they are awesome. Leopard, man, is like my favorite.
Right?
When I saw those spots, man, how it changed, how it did that, to me, that's one of my most favorite.
I mean, we're just gonna do this one time to take my spot if I do it right. This is what Leopard does. And super pastel and butter.
That is beautiful.
But that's the only thing I'm gonna show tonight. You can watch my video where I show the what you could get instead of a spider next week. So, but yeah, Leopard is dope.
Yeah. Now see, like spider, I love spider. I don't have any spider in my collection, but I think like a lot of people, when I started in 2018, spider was just kicking in to being talked about as far as there's something going on here. And you know how people are, they always like to emphasize the bad. And because when I look at Jeremy, when I look at Jeremy's spider, it looks completely normal. No problems whatsoever. And I've seen plenty of spiders that look totally normal, no problems. But it's something's going on. I don't know what it is. And obviously it's genetics, but it's got such a hit that people are getting out of it left and right. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm posting a video Tuesday. Y'all might hate me. Talking about spider in the spider complex. So it's really weird for me not having earbuds in or headphones on. So I'm constantly like grabbing. But yeah, I really want y'all in the chat to watch and pump that video. Because I think we hate spider for no reason. I mean, yes, it has a wobble. Yes, there's some older genes in that complex that have a wobble. But did we line breed them like we did like dogs? I mean, like,
Right.
did we abuse the hell out of a couple lines? That's what my video is about.
All right. And I've heard of many people breeding certain things with spider, and they have zero wobble. I mean, like when I look at Jeremy's, like I said, I don't see any wobble, anything. And he had his stretched so far out, and that snake was rock solid, man. It wasn't wiggling or moving or nothing. Does yours have any issues at all?
I'll take her out. It's from Chris's, but it's in the video. I'll show it again. I'll show her if she's willing to come out of her ball. But I will hold on. Let me do this. But yeah, look, she's upside down, freaking out. Curly,
yeah, so she's trying to right herself.
She's trying to find solid ground.
Right.
And I'm trying to help her, but yeah, she's corkscrewing. But she hit me in the face. But she's been on eggs. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the snake. She eats. She's bred. She's produced clutches. Right. Why do we hate this specific gene that's right here?
And like over in England, they won't even allow them to be displayed in any show.
Oh, they have that guy with a mustache worse than mine that says it's a bulb.
Right.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. As long as they're eating, they're shedding, and they're fine. I have no issue with any morphs. I mean, that is we'll call it a codominant gene, right?
Right.
That's a codominant gene. I'll put you back up over here. But we will breed leatherbacks to leatherbacks and bearded dragons to make silkies. And we'll breed, double Rex rats. They're the ones with the little curly cues and no hair anywhere else. So we'll breed all the other, morphs of animals that are shouldn't survive, and then we hate spider.
Right.
I don't get it. I think we over popularized spider back in the day, and we're dealing with it now. That's my opinion. So anyway, that was my rant. Check out my video on Tuesday when it comes out. So is there a gene you want to get into that you're not working with? Incomplete dominant or recessive?
Well, definitely the desert ghost, which I hopefully will get that soon, and Xanthic. There's so many other cool stuff out there, but I'm limited on space, and eventually I would probably see myself maxing out at around, say 30 clutches a year. And because I'm by myself, I mean, I'm married, and my wife loves holding snakes and all that, but she's not going to come down here and feed a snake, and she's not going to come clean poop or anything like that.
Right.
But
that's a lot of clutches, huh? Snake poop.
Yeah. Well, 30 clutches, that's an endeavor, I think. And I haven't even got my 8 yet. So let's see how this works out. I'm liable to have 8 and go, oh my God, this is it. I don't want to have any more. But so far, It's been good. So far, one thing I did was I upped my production of rats, and another thing was I never have been producing mice, but this time I thought, well, I'm going to get 4 clutches of mice, and just so I can, have my bases covered, because I don't want any of the little hatchlings to come out and not want a rat pup, but and so far I have not had any problem with the 12 that I've been feeding. I went mouse hopper, and then bam, went right into rat pups, and every one of them ate except for one. And what I did was I put 2 mouse hoppers in a small plastic box like that with the one rat pup and let them sit in there for about 20 minutes. And man,
You got the scent.
they got it right off the bat.
Nice. I have a female hatchling Pastel coming Kurtwood in like 10 days. So like not this Tuesday, the following one. And she's on ASFs. And I'm going to be like, well, if you don't take a wrap up, I haven't frozen, for my, hatchlings that will come out of my eggs. So I have them to spare. I think I have a handful in the rat rack that are of size for, that size of a snake. And, if it don't work, then I'm going to take that and get an ASF of size and get the bedding with it. And then, I'll feed the ASF because it's eating ASFs, but I'll throw a rat pup in there or appropriate sized rat in that bedding before I feed it, the next week.
Right.
Try to, smell, get it turned over. So.
Yeah, I like what Kevin said. If you like spider, then breed spider. If you don't like it, then don't breed it. I mean, and stop hating on people who do.
Yeah, it's not like we're breeding spider or
right. Well, like
spider
he
champagne
said,
or like any of these things.
Right. From what he was saying, it came out of the wild with a wobble. So it's not like the breeders caused it to have a wobble. But even if they, did, I still feel like if you should be able to breed what you want to breed. And if you've got a market for it, then great.
I mean, you're right. I agree, and I say a lot about it in with the older line, allelic spider complex genes in my video that's coming out Tuesday. I don't want to scare anybody off, but I also want to it's not that scary. It's not like you're going to breed a spider to something and every egg's dead.
Yeah. Imagine somebody that's scared of how the spider has the wobble and it won't eat. Then you say, okay, well then put your hand in there with a rat and see if it hits your hand, because then they're like, oh no, I believe he'll be accurate then.
Right, or it's gonna miss conveniently and hit you.
Right.
I know it. Animals have a wobble. Some of those animals have a wobble. How you learn how to deal with it is one thing. Whether or not you rebreed it down the line is a different thing. That's what I'm talking about in that video. So,
right.
To get off of that topic and keep focused on the greatest show on Coco next to me, we're going to move on. So what's your favorite recessive project that you're working with, or what's something that you really want to get into?
My favorite recessive is what I'm into right this moment, which is clown, pieds, and hypo. And I've already bought 2 double recessives, a clown pied. A clown hypo and a hypo pied. And I'm hoping that they're going to be ready to breed this upcoming season. One of them is at like 1,100 grams, and the other one is at 1,050. So I'm hoping they'll get over the mark and be ready to breed. But if not, I'll wait for 2024. But those are my favorite. And like I said, as far as what eventually I'd like to get into is that Desert Ghost and Xanthic. And
all right,
I'm not sure if is Monsoon a recessive? I can't remember. I
mean, people can fight about it. Some people think it's a Godom and the super is what we see. I don't deal with it. I don't want to fight about it.
Right. I've not paid attention to it other than I've seen them and I like them. I like how they shatter the whole pattern. It looks awesome. Acid, that's another one, which I believe that's a Kodom. So
yeah, Acid. Dale from Constricted. I forget his name. He's got an Acid Ultramel, and that was like.
Yeah. Now Ultramel, yeah. Okay, that slipped my mind. I love Ultramel. I wanted to buy a Ultramel Pied this year, but the cheapest one I saw, which was the only one I saw, and it was like $4,500, and I just can't swing that at the moment. That's just way out of my league.
Well, I have too many next year when I make the double heads.
I'm seeing where Jeremy's saying that monsoons are recessive, and yeah, those are awesome.
Well, we'll ask Austin next time he's on.
There you go.
He thinks seeing that it's something different. I actually don't know. I don't deal with it, so it's hard to tell. But I know acid is awesome, and thank you, Kevin, for. I don't have it on my shirt, but I'll say what Jeremy says: quality shines through. I think that's what's on his back. And your chats are going through my back, so that's fine. All right. So, how many collections did you have this season? I think you said
had
8.
Yeah. Like I said, I bred 9, and only 8 came through, and I had no slugs. But when you factor in, I had 9 that died, which I don't know what that's all about. I bred a inchy fire het pied and something else. I think it was yellow belly. It was yellow belly, fire, inchy, het pied to a normal, and this normal was 12 years old, and she was sold to me as a male. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, meaning that was her first time she'd ever bred. The guy who I got her from had her bought her brand new and had her as a class snake for 11 years and never bred her at all. And in fact, said it was a male. And when I looked at her, she was so long, I just knew she was a female. Sure enough, got her home, probed her, and it was a female. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. The other thing is, for those of you who have watched my show or my updates and stuff, that was the clutch where I put the bamboo skewers in. And Chris of BNS Reptilia said, hey, you might want to check on those because they may promote mold. And sure enough, man, I put them in there, and 7 days later, he mentioned it. I pulled them out and cleaned all the mold off and transferred the eggs to a whole nother cub, and they looked great the whole time. And for some reason, I lost 9 eggs, and only 3 survived, and they're still doing good. But like I said, I did a video on those today, which will get released hopefully Saturday. I'm waiting for an update to see how they're turning out.
Yeah, I mean, we all learn it is what it is. I mean, sometimes like I got plastic golf tees in there, but I'm rocking on perlite. I think that's what it is. Perlite hatchite. So that's the stuff you can you don't need the light diffuser on.
Right.
So it will keep the humidity, whatever, and you put the eggs right on that.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's prohibitively expensive.
Right.
So for me, I have one ball python clutch on it. I have a leopard. I had a leopard gecko clutch on it, and I might have enough to do one more ball python clutch, but that's it.
Right.
$50.
Right.
So I want to look to switch to actual perlite or vermiculite and do the light diffuser.
Right.
On top of it, or hatchite, not hatchite, dragon hatch, or one of those plastic things that sit on there.
Egg trays, right? Yeah, the stuff I used was vermiculite, and I got it for free, but it's real fine, and I had to use a light diffuser. I felt like it was best too, and as soon as I cut them and they started to come out, I ended up transferring them out of that onto a napkin, and a wet napkin, because I didn't want the vermiculite, because it's so fine, to get caught in their pits. And but next year I'm planning on moving to a larger grain of vermiculite or perlite or something like that, so that I don't have to worry about that.
So we're talking about perlite is the white stuff, right? It looks like in your topsoil.
Exactly.
Correct. So vermiculite is different. It's darker. It's more granular.
Yeah, my understanding of vermiculite is like based off of ash, like volcanic ash, and it holds moisture very well. People also pour it in cinder block walls to hold air capsules so that it's used as an insulation, and that's how I got it. And but it's good stuff. I mean, so far I've had no problems, and hopefully we'll continue not to have any problems.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things. Even we can even use cypress mulch in our enclosures. I mean, vermiculite, perlite. You gotta find out what works for you, what works in your incubator, what works for your species.
Right.
That's what I just said, Phil. Anyway.
Yeah, Phil helped me out a lot this year too, man. I would see, I don't want to wear out my welcome, so I would ask a few questions of Chris and ask a few questions of Phil. And like I said, I'm speaking to Kai. He's going to help me to make sure I identify these snakes right, these pieds. And next
I'm
year
sure
I'll
they all
probably
hate
talk to
me.
you. Say it
They all
again.
hate me, Chip.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Is
appreciate
this
that.
thing gonna
Everybody's super
Is
nice.
that thing gonna lay? I think she ovulated.
Right.
All right, let's see what Brian has to say. Brian does vermiculite and perlite with a light diffuser, and he uses straws. So, for those that don't know, since he's tuning in and he's awesome, he is the father-in-law of a friend I have from high school, who I got this pair of snakes from. And I'll put myself back over here. So I actually got this pair clown. Let me get this right. Clown, possible het hypo, orange dream, possible double het clown hypo. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I super appreciate Ryan and Sean for actually allowing me to get these in my collection. So
Yeah,
that's
I
all.
wanted to say one thing about those bamboo skewers. The only reason why I used them is because I could not find my straws, and initially I was using plastic forks, cut off, and that clutch came, and I didn't know where my straws were, and I went upstairs in the kitchen, and I knew we had these bamboo skewers for cooking, and I thought, well, gosh, bamboo, it resists mold and humidity, and it does, but it also promotes mold. It
Humidity.
doesn't affect the bamboo, but it will certainly promote it. And I put them all in there, holding everything up, and it worked great. And like I said, they were in there for 1 week. And I always do my videos like on a Saturday, do my editing over the week, and then that Saturday I show it. Well,
Right.
Chris saw the video and he said, "Hey, you might want to check on that because I don't think that's a good idea using bamboo." And I said the same thing. Oh, well, it doesn't, it resists mold and mildew. And he goes, "Yeah, but you better go look at it." Sure enough, I looked in there and there was all this mold, and I promptly wiped all the eggs off with a towel sprayed with chlorhexidine, and it transferred them, and and I thought they were safe and good to go. I did not see any more mold on them, and lo and behold, I lost 9 of those eggs. And I don't know if it was because of the mold or what it was. I just don't know.
Yeah. Also, so for people that are dumb like me, and getting into this, don't buy this. You can actually buy chlorhexidine in a big vat or a big tub and mix it yourself for a lot cheaper.
Cheap. Like my Tractor Supply sells it. It's
Right.
cheap.
Exactly. Like, why would you spend? There's a bunch of things we spend a lot of money on because they're reptile branded.
Right.
Lights, heat mats, things like that, where you can buy them. I mean, you can get cocoa, the fine stuff for plants, pretty cheap. But when it's reptile branded, it's a lot more money.
Right.
So I think Adam Wicken did a video on like, well, you spent $25 on this. Here it is for $5 at the dollar store. Same thing. So it's like, how do we how do we get the best things for our animals and keep the price down type of thing is what I look at. I mean, we're talking chlorhexidine. You can buy the Zoom Ed thing for like $25 or the whole big vat for.
Yeah, I think I got mine from Tractor Supply. A gallon. Now this was a while back, but a gallon was like $4, and you mixed it, and it made like 100 gallons. It was some crazy amount. I couldn't believe how the mix ratio. Now I don't follow that mix ratio that they recommend because it looked so diluted, and I mix mine a little bit stronger than that, but so I can see that it's blue and I know what it is. But yeah, it's cheap. It's very, very cheap. And see, another thing is like people that I hear using cypress mulch, and I've not ever done that, but I hear a lot of people like it.
Honestly, the only person I know is PJ. What the hell's his actual name? He goes. It's Con Worker on Instagram. He uses cypress. That's the only person I actually know that uses cypress, and he says it's great, but he doesn't live in Pennsylvania, so it's
right.
But I hear it holds this humidity, but you don't want your snakes getting an RI. So
right. I see where John said he likes the smell of chlorhexidine. I like it too. I think it smells fresh and clean and nice stuff.
Nicole says Ozzy uses cypress.
Yeah, I've heard other people use cypress, and that kind of surprised me because I thought that was one that most people didn't use, but I had seen where quite a few people did use it. Another one was I think it was birch. I think aspen.
Yeah, we use aspen and cocoa.
Right.
Coconut fiber, however it's composed. So doesn't mulch tend to have mites? So what we use in a majority of our collections is stuff that is branded for reptiles. It's treated, things like that. I wouldn't go buy your, dyed black mulch and use that for your reptiles. In the same way, I wouldn't take, isopods out of, my yard where my dog takes a dookie and, there's leaves and stuff, and pull those isopods out and feed to my, bearded dragons and whatnot. So.
Right. Hey, who was it that asked about does mulch have mites? Tammy. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you something. I've never had any problems with mites. However, Kike Bosa Balls had an awesome tip. He takes his cocoa block and puts it in the freezer for like, a month or so. And then when he's ready to use it, pulls it out, lets it thaw out, and then preps it. And that way there ain't nothing living through that. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you find a nice piece of driftwood, you throw it in your oven, certain degrees, and I throw it in the back of my truck bed with the cover over the top and temp it, make sure it's to certain degrees, and cooks whatever the hell's there.
Yeah, I see where Nicole says snake mites are not native to America. I didn't know that. I guess they're native to Africa. I mean, I never even thought about that.
Well, I mean, even the ticks over there are different.
I see where Mike says he puts his in the freezer too.
That's a whole new conversation about like what parasites or parasitic insects your snakes can get from, if you're bringing in an import, it may have mites, it may have ticks. I hope it doesn't. But that's why you need a quarantine room. And this is getting like completely off topic of what I had planned to talk to Chip about. But anyway, we'll bring that up. Do you have a quarantine room for new snakes that come in?
Okay. Do I have a quarantine room? Is that me? Okay. I don't have a quarantine room per se, but my area here is like 800 square feet, and it's divided into 2 rooms with a panel I put in to keep the humidity high in that room where my snakes are,
Okay.
and I've got everything separated by about say 12 feet. Now I realize that's not enough, but that's my quarantine. And I got a little small rack that's set up and capable of holding 4 snakes at a time, and that's where I put them, and I let them stay there. But I'll tell you something I'm getting ready to start doing though is I'm getting ready to start doing those nido tests where you test them and then this over and done with. I heard KG from Bomb Projects talk about how they do that, and it's in and out. You're done. You've tested them, and you either got a problem or you don't, and you're going to know immediately. And that made a lot of sense. I think Antoine on Lady Tiz's Nicole's show said
You
that
talked
too,
about it too.
and I was like, God, that makes so much sense, and they're so cheap. Now there's that place called Fish Head. They charge in my opinion, an arm and a leg, whereas this other place is like $25, and you buy like 50 swabs for like $50 or whatever it is, and you send them
You gotta
in.
do
And
it.
yeah, it's worth it. Not only that, I just about bet you it's going to be a trend that people are going to start to expect when they buy a snake.
Yeah. And I think we should be doing something similar to that, right? Like I
Right.
don't have any in my collection, right? And I
Right.
have multiple animals. I have bearded dragons, skinks, Russian tortoises. I've had no issues, with Nido or anything really in my collection. So I think it's that little bit of extra, little check mark on a snake I send somebody.
Right. But imagine how much comfort somebody's going to feel when you send them that snake, and they've got the test with them right there, and
Yeah, and no mites.
yeah, and $25 is, to me, it's worth it. I mean that,
Yeah.
and I don't have enough money to pay to have all mine tested at once, and I don't quite understand if the mother and father don't have Nido, anything like that. I don't see how the babies would have it either. So what's the point of having the babies tested if none of your
Right. Something like, say I buy a snake, right? And I'm a dumbass, and I put it right in my rack.
right?
That snake could have Nido. The whole rack could have Nido. Could.
Right.
So that's where we're at with that. So anything that comes in here, it goes away from my breeders and the stuff I'm growing out, right? So
Right.
if you notice, like when I brought Chris's snake here, it was sitting away for a little while. I trust him. It's healthy. It's fine. It ate, and it moved into the rack.
Right.
But if I buy something or have something come in from somebody I don't personally know or trust, it's different. It might go to my parents' house I think Nicole has a pressing point. That is not an error.
It's not an airborne transmitted. Okay, I see that. It has to be transmitted. Well, my thing is, it's if my 20 male and female snakes don't have it, and I have a clutch, I don't see how in the world the babies could have it.
They can.
Right.
I'm trying to read through the chats because I think I thought Nido was respiratory.
I think it shows itself as a respiratory condition, but that's my understanding. But it's not.
Yeah, I thought it was an adenovirus type of thing. But I could be missing something in the chat that Nicole's talking about. Either way, you don't want it.
Right.
In your collection. If you do have it, you should test for it.
Yeah. Now I know it can be transferred through the saliva because I've read where people who have tried to feed a snake and the snake did a bite at it, an instinctive, bite, but then let go, and then the person feed it to another snake, and then that snake all of a sudden gets nido.
Rob, I believe that's correct. That you can have a snake that has it that doesn't show signs. Okay, so we got two things that it's not airborne.
Right.
All right, so we'll leave it at that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a biologist. I just like keeping snakes. So don't take my word on anything viral or whatever about these animals. So you said you had 8 collections this year.
Correct.
So was it 2 hashed out? The third, we won't talk about it anymore. And you have like 5 more in the incubator.
Correct. Yeah.
So
those 5. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, what was your most anticipated out of the whole gamut of?
Well, definitely those pieds, but also I've got, and again, this is probably juvenile, but I've got a black pastel that was sold to me as possible het pied, and I'd love to see some some pieds come out of that. However, I bred her to a yellow belly pied, and I'd love to see some black pastel with yellow belly in it. They look awesome, and that I know it's a cheap snake, but they look awesome.
Hi man, cheap snake,
also,
good snake makes awesome hats.
Right, and also I've got a spot nose inchy clown that I can't wait to see some snakes from that.
Awesome.
And yeah, so those are going to be pretty anticipated. And I got a inchy fire butter yellow belly, that I bred to a leopard blade clown. So I'm going to produce some hits out of that. And
awesome.
and that's my favorite snake, that inchy yellow belly fire butter. That, I mean, everybody has a favorite snake, and man, she's
you
worth
said
a lot of money.
You said Anchi Spicy Mike hasn't popped up. Terrence hasn't popped back up in a while. When you said yellow belly, so
yeah, well, that snake, like I said, is on the market as a cheap snake, but it's probably one of my funnest snake that I'll pull out the most often. And I actually did a video on emotional support animals, and it was, the question was, can a snake be an emotional support animal? And this snake here, man, I can pull open the tray, she'll come out, and I put my hand down by her, and she gets right on my hand. She knows I'm going to pull her out. I pull her out, and we'll go watch a movie, and with my wife and my daughter, and she does fine. And she'll usually just fall asleep, or at least I guess she's asleep, and she'll lay on my belly, and then I'll put her back down. Now, when she's ready to eat, she's ready to eat, and there ain't no mistaking that. And you better not stick your hand in there, because she's going to pop you.
Yeah, I mean, this is my emotional support pied.
Now, is that a pastel pied?
No, we'll bath her. We'll breed and find out what the hell she actually is, other than a highway, pied. But my emotional support pied. She's great. But yeah, there are animals that we can have, even if they're all scaly and whatnot, that can center us. So I agree with that.
Right.
She's great. Even she was here for 2 days and ate. I mean, she's awesome. She's my favorite snake. Obviously I'm Team Ultramel, but she's actually climbing on my chair now. It's a little embarrassing. So I'm gonna put you back on while I get her out of my chair.
All right. Yeah, talking about emotional support animals, that's a big thing now. People are trying to bring miniature ponies on airplanes, and peacocks and chickens and whatnot. And I got to thinking, a snake, man, are hypoallergenic. I don't know how they're they don't really bother anybody unless they know there's a snake, and then that's what freaks them out. And,
they're slimy and whatever. But I mean,
right, and they're not slimy at all, And
no,
but
they can't even secrete that. Did somebody say Ultramel? I said Ultramel, I think. What? yeah, Mike, this is my favorite actual snake of the snakes I have, not the genetics. Anyway, back to Chip.
But yeah, I just love I love that little snake, and like I said, it's probably my cheapest snake I got. But she is a great snake, and I've never been bit by her. And I don't know, it's that same story. And 9 times out of 10, everybody in here has got snakes that they've never been bit by, and they just love the pieces. And that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like this girl from Brian Barczyk is amazing. She if when I have my friends' kids over, this is a snake I take out.
And that's the pied you had earlier, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the one
What's her
around my
name?
neck. What's that?
Is it a female?
It's a female. I mean, it's going to Ultramel.
Yeah. What's her name?
Oh, her name is.
Come on, boy, you got to know your names.
Oh, I don't have names. I have a female 2020-005 pied.
That's a catchy name, man. That is a catchy name.
They all got numbers. They all got numbers.
Butterbean. My little girl, her name is Butterbean because she looks
Like
like
a
a butterbean color. Yeah.
All right. So let's see where we're at time wise. We're getting towards. We need to eat dinner. So, Chip, where do you see yourself in 5 years as a ball python breeder?
Well, I would say I'm definitely going to have more snakes, and hopefully breeding more top quality snakes. But here's the catch: I don't want to be that guy, and I know this sounds odd, but I don't want to be producing. I want to produce somewhat for the masses, but also quality. And granted, I wish I could produce a sunset tomorrow, but I'm totally content with producing leopard clowns and a hypo clown or a hypopod. They're not terribly expensive.
They're recessive, so that's nice.
Right. They're going to be, people want those. I would believe, and they're reasonable. To me, they're relatively reasonable because I don't know about you, but when I first got into this, $350 was a mind blowing figure. And now the most I've ever spent on a snake was $3,500. That was a lot of money. And it was a shocker to me, but you get so hooked into it that, it's like an investment, but I enjoy it. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I'm buying that next Pokemon to go into, what's the puzzle piece that fits in the right way right now. I mean, I definitely need more money to get that puzzle piece.
Right.
But I can sit here and wait a couple of years until I have double visuals, triple visuals, because I have the ingredients that I put into this rack, and it's
exactly. And the only difference between me and you is age. And see, you've got time on your hands where you've got plenty of time. And I'm not like I'm going to die tomorrow, but I'm 54, and I better buy some visuals.
In 5 years, I should have most of my goals if the odds gods are with me, or at least some of the visuals that I produced, more so than what I have right here.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think it actually takes that long. I think you need economies of scale, right? So why is Kabilka or Wilbanks or any of these people so good at doing this? Money and scale.
Right.
So if you have let's say 20, triple het, monsoon pied hypos or something like that, right? And the male and female ratio is good, you're bound to hit one. So I mean, it's economies of scale, right? So for me, if a 1 to 3 pairing is huge, right? 14 snakes, 15 snakes, whatever. So I produce a 1 to 3, double head ultramel pie. That's a big, project for me. But somebody for like Justin Kabilka, Mike Wilbanks, Billy, those people, it's not that big of a project, right? They have plenty to shoot for those odds. So for me, if I hit that, it makes me feel even better than those guys. So
Right. And one thing to always remember is all three of those guys you mentioned, you know what they're doing? They're still buying from the general public.
oh yeah,
I
I
hear
mean,
stories all the time.
I have people if I hit this, would you want that? And they were like, hell yeah. And I could do that in 3 to 5 years. Other people can do it too, but if I feel like in recessives, if you have a banger male, like a banger triple recessive male, that thing is worth like gold, right? So if I hit let's say an ultramel cloud pied or something like that, right?
Right.
And I hit like 3 of them, more than I would need. That one male that I could sell, eventually I will hit a snake that somebody's going to be like, I'm going to buy that.
Right.
And that's not my goal, but I mean, my plan is to keep it small, keep it simple, stupid, but create these phenomenal double and triple recessive ultramel projects.
Yep. That's the plan.
So, do you see yourself doing like something similar, keeping it like really, not really small, but smaller, but hyper focused on certain genes and bringing
Yeah.
in?
Yeah. I definitely like I said, I'm thinking 30 max for clutches, and I read earlier where Phil from Fingersnake said that's a lot of work, and it probably is. But I think once I build myself up to it and see what it's like I said, I don't even know what 8 clutches is like yet, and I'm going to find that out.
Right.
But I would love, again, I really feel like clowns and pieds and hypo that I've got currently are not going to go out of style. And if I could bring in some ultramale and exanthic or desert ghost, like I said, those are the other 3. But even
Right.
that would, produce a ton of snakes. I just got to be selective and see where I'm at.
Yeah. For me, I have clown, I have hypo, I have ultramel, I have pied right here in 14 states. Like,
Right.
it's just crazy. But I'm going straight double recessive for the most part, aside from ultramel, or triple recessive. So it's not as crazy. Just the holdbacks will suck. But I'm not working with puzzle. There's a bunch of genes I'm not working with. But my buddy, he has candy, he has albino, he has desert ghost. So there's a bunch of stuff that I can make here that I can be like, all right, we're gonna gamble, throw you a female to go to that, to bring that
Right.
in, type of thing. So yeah, we might have some fire in the future.
Right. So you're saying you may partner up, do some, yeah, that's the way to go. Where I'm at, I just don't really have a lot of people that I know. And here's the thing. I also am really hesitant on talking about what I do locally because, you got theft that goes on a lot, and I don't want to get into that. But so I don't go out saying, "Hey, I come over here and look at all the stuff I've got."
Right. We can talk about that part backstage and how to deter that offline.
Right.
But you mentioned I think you said Dale from Acadia.
Yeah, Acadia ball pythons.
So I mean, is he like your mentor or like your go-to, one of your go-to local guys?
Well, he's from out of Maine, so no, he's not one of my go-to local or guys that I go to. I would say the biggest ones are Phil and Chris of BNS.
Okay.
I asked him a lot, and also Kai. I've spoken to him.
Okay.
And
the Acadia thing didn't register with me.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was Jeremy from Warfels Morphs. I'll speak to him about YouTube stuff, and he's helped me out there. But one thing I like about Chris and Phil is they're accessible. They don't mind, and I try not to beat them up, asking 1,000 questions. But yeah, those were really good people that have definitely helped out a lot. Yeah, I like what Nicole says. We got guns too. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phil, Chris, they're great. Nicole's great. I mean, I have Mike, her collective, like I have a network of people I can go ask any time of the day, pretty much at this point. It's awesome. So, do I have a mentor? No. Do I have a network? Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
So, I would love to have a mentor to be able to, come here and tell me if this girl, has follicles or, ultrasound her, tell me. But we're not there. But anyway, so let's move on to the latter half of this because I know you're probably hungry. I'm hungry too, and we're getting towards Jeremy Warfel's show with JDH with Dave. So, Chip, where can people find you on social media? I assume everybody knows where you're at right now.
Well, I'm on Instagram, obviously, and YouTube. I've got a Facebook page. I'm in the middle of working on trying. I'm not a Facebook person, but I'm trying to get all my stuff to transfer from Instagram over to Facebook.
Right, do the metaverse thing.
Yeah, and see how that works out. But primarily just YouTube and Instagram. Those are my two. I know like Kike, he's big into TikTok, and gosh, man, I'm very limited on how much time I can spend. And as you may or may not know, when you're doing editing of videos, it takes a lot of time.
I'm not gonna lie. From when I was starting to talk to you about like what time we were actually going on tonight, around noon, around lunch. That's when I was filming and doing the spider complex video, and I just wrapped it up just before. I sent you the link at like 5:45 tonight to come on. And I kept on rewatching it because it's spider. I mean, I have to make it perfect in my brain for it to, see the world.
Right.
I mean, that took so long, and there's another part or two that I still have to film.
Right. Yeah, and people, at least I believe this, they want to see nice videos, I was drummed in my head. You got to make sure the picture quality and sound, because if that sound ain't right, they're gone.
Oh,
or if it's not right as far as the video, they're gone. So I tried my best to avoid that if I can.
I mean, Chip, I remember Will from Will's Hella Heat. I had a great video, right?
Right.
And at the end, the outro, at least towards the end, like it might have shown rats or something.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And I threw in music, right? And the sound spiked, like through the roof, all red.
Right.
And now that I know that, I'm looking at, like, where does it spike red? Okay, volume down. That type of thing. But it's actually been really cool. And tonight, to not have to have
earphones.
And I've been like, it's been weird. Like I took a watch off. But yeah, I mean, just finding those little things out. Like, I didn't hear that sound spike, but apparently it was like boom.
Right.
In
you know what?
Ear.
Even the great Chris Hardwick. When I started watching him, he had which was a lot. He had 2,000 followers, and every once in a while somebody would say, "Well, I would love to understand what you said, but I can't hear you because that music is so loud." And he would go, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he would correct it and get it right. But what I'm getting at is even people like that have had their problems in the past.
But what's really cool is that despite the fact that he is, I don't want to call him outdated in YouTube culture for snakes, he still will pop in to lives I've been on. He'll still chime in with ball python stuff. He's got a bike channel, a couple other channels, but he still chimes in. I know he's been on Leopard's channel.
53,000 followers now, I think, for ball pythons.
And he was saying how back in the day you just had to have like a couple thousand views, and that was it. But he hustled at it.
Oh
You know,
God, yeah.
I agree or don't with what he put out there, but he hustled at it, and he deserved,
Yeah,
to
and
get
remember when he
monetized.
did he was doing a video a day. I don't know how he did that. I just don't get it because I would have been war slap out.
It was hard for me to do a 15-minute video today.
Right.
Like I said, it took me like 6 hours. But anyway, we're getting towards the end. This has been very, very fun.
All right.
So, we've gone over where you're at on social media. Are you do you plan on vending any shows in North Carolina?
Yeah, I would love to. I actually went on darn went right out my head. ARS. I went to ARS's website where they sell those vending kits in the boxes and all that, and they're sold out. And
And it's
I would
funny because
like
they
to do
just
that.
posted them and they're already gone.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
within
I
a
would
week.
like to do that and just get like a couple, like 2 8-foot tables. I would really like to do that here in North Carolina and possibly South Carolina, just to kind of meet more people. And when I grew up as a kid, my mom and dad used to vend car shows. They would sell hat pins and sunglasses and earrings and all this stuff. So I've grew up doing that when I was a kid for fun. They did it for fun,
And
and
it's
they
got
made
like
money.
Grateful Dead shows busking your wares.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so you had to watch people. You knew. I hate it, but everybody. There's some sticky fingered people out there, and you had to watch them. And but yeah, I would definitely like to do that.
Awesome, man. So, I know you've been super popular in the past 8 days. You've been on Jeremy Warfel's show, you've been on Mike from Herp Collector's show, and now you've been on my show.
Right.
For my show again. You were here a couple weeks ago chatting with us. So, do you have any other social media appearances coming up?
I've got one more, and that is I think it's September 13th, and that is with Gershon.
All right, you're
Yeah,
on under 1,000.
yes, and let me pull
Awesome.
that up to make sure I got that right because I don't want to say it wrong. But I actually contacted him and said, "Hey, man, I sure would like to be on your show." And he said, "Get away, you bother me." No, I'm just playing. He
Nah,
said,
he's
"You
on
know,
my show in a couple weeks. So
yeah." Well, he said, "I would love to have you on. I just got to I got to book you." And sure enough, he goes, "Because I'm like 4 months out." And lo and behold, he called me, and I got it right here. Let's see. Oh, September 9th. It's on a
nice.
Friday.
Yep.
And
Yep. In the middle of Hair Down, where we put our hair downs with the usual suspects, hosted by the hostess with the mostest, Terrence Hughes.
now I
Shout out
will
to
say this:
everybody.
the 27th, in 6 days, I will celebrate my 1 year on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been
I
one
forget
year.
what my 1 year date is. I did a bunch of like garbage and then only recently started being consistent. But I do enjoy doing this. Like
Yeah, I do too.
I like the I'll bring back the panel chats, but it might be something like what Jeremy Warfel has coming up where it's a panel but it's like three of y'all and me. So it's
Right,
contained instead of just a free for all.
right.
So in the coming weeks, next week I have Jaffe coming on. The following week is Ryan Gundy. Fingers crossed we can actually work it out and get him on here. After that, September I think 11th is Jeremy Warfel, and then the following week is your Sean.
Right.
And that's as far as I have booked out. So I mean that's going to be fun. I think I have Earl, Jersey Guys, Antoine from Regius Pythons, Bomb Projects, a couple of other people that I'm trying to work out a show with. But I do really like getting these one-on-ones because lets me pick your brains and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, I mean this has been great. Yeah, thank you, Chip, for coming on, sharing your knowledge, sharing your humor.
Well,
We'll
I
laugh
appreciate
about
you
it
having me.
tomorrow. All
I
right.
really enjoyed it.
So we will we'll shut it down now. Chip, I'm gonna put you backstage and do the outro.
All right. You guys take care.
All right, thanks everybody for joining. Make sure you check out Jeremy Warfield's stream. He's got Dave from JDH on right after this at 8 p.m. I'm going to shut this down, and I don't actually have the link because I'm on a different computer tonight. But make sure you go Google him. I got his shirt on, so check him out. And peace. You hit the freaking thing. There we go.